Okay, so some people are confused about why so many of the establishment Democrats are coming out against Zohran Mamdani, who is running for mayor of New York on the Democratic Socialist ticket. Well, that's the start. He's running on a different ticket, Democratic Socialist, which is left of the DNC. The DNC suffered a huge blow when Kamala Harris lost. She was never going to win. Those of us with our thinking caps on knew that. But they are really struggling because they're losing their credibility. Like, they can't seem to run people, right, that are going to win. And it doesn't help that the Democratic Socialists just had like a bit of a sweep in New York. So it's showing that the base is moving to the left. And part of why she didn't win is because she ran on a Republican, platform. So they're coming out against him because they're trying to reestablish themselves as the go-to. Unfortunately, the DNC has shown themselves as incapable of winning against MAGA. Now, MAGA is a new party. They haven't officially established themselves, but they're a new party. They are not the GOP. The GOP, their fundamental values do not align with most of what MAGA is pushing, right? And so I think that, the history books will show that new parties were created at this time, and that's fine. But the DNC is struggling to, recapture the confidence of voters, right? Of course, you're always going to have the blue no matter who, folks. But when the Democratic Socialists come, they're saying more of the things that people were hoping that the Democratic Party stood for, right? Anyway, so they're coming out against him, and they have, paid the Black bourgeoisie magazines like Black Enterprise and The Root to also come out against him. It's a side. The DNC did everything they could to try to get Cuomo to win because they know that he's a person they can control. They also relied heavily on name recognition, right? The Cuomo name is big in New York. It didn't work. So now they're scrambling. And they're they won't let go of their AIPAC, funding, right? So people like Hakeem Jeffries, Richie Torres, and others, they're going to either speak out against Mamdani or they're not going to say much of anything. Eric Adams has definitely come out against Mamdani because he's running against him now. I think he's going to run on an independent ticket. He's going to lose. But it's important for them to make it clear that they don't want to go in the Democratic Socialist way, right? The DNC is slightly left of center, but they're pretty conservative, pretty middle of the road. And they're not really about the radical change that clearly more people will say things like, oh, y'all said it was two sides of the same coin, and look what happened. Y'all know they are actually. They actually are the two sides of the same coin. And those of us with our thinking caps on, we know that, right? Unfortunately, American politicians rely on the average U.S. citizen not being very smart. And that's how they get over. So now they're tapping into Black publications, Black influencers, whatever, to try to suggest that Mamdani is harmful or to try to say that we don't like him. I said that they were going to dig up a tweet or fabricate a tweet of him calling Black people nigga. They instead found that he checked, African American on his college app, but he put next to it, he put Ugandan, and he was kind of representing that. We know he was not trying to claim to be Black. He went on to, study Africana studies, which is But great. Don't let the smooth taste fool you. The DNC just grifted the American people for $1.5 billion to run another Indian. They're not against Indians running. They want Indians who are controlled by AIPAC in the way that Harris was. They want Indians that are going to be loyal to their stepchild Israel, the way Harris was. They don't want an Indian who is calling for meeting the needs of the average American citizen. So that's all that is, right? So don't fall for the psyop. Don't fall for the bullshit. These Black magazines, they not like us. They don't care about us. All they care about is their bottom line. Several of them have been taken over by people who are not African Americans. So that's important to consider as well. Watch out for these accounts that you follow, like the Shade Room and others. They do not have our interests in mind.